May you understand that the Dhamma that isn't impossible are the main important points that the Buddha selected. As a Buddhist, you should study to understand the depths of the religion and how comprehensive it is. You have to understand this. This is because the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, already exist within us. Simply put, we are entirely the manifestation of the Dhamma. As for all the Dhamma that the Buddha taught, that is in the manuals, the Buddha selected only the systems related to people to teach people. Simply put, the Buddha used issues or stories about people to teach people. He didn't pull topics out of thin air. He used stories about good people, bad people, and people who possessed supreme virtue to teach all of us. During the Buddha's time, why did the Buddha use stories about people to teach people? The Buddha was concerned for people. That is, he wanted people to have knowledge and goodness within themselves. Whatever caused suffering or was difficult to grasp, the Buddha would present it in a way that people could understand, namely, by using the truth about people. As for the issues about people in those days, if someone did something evil, whether in action or speech or thought, once they had done that evil, what were the consequences of that deed? How did it cause suffering? The Buddha chronicled all of this in manuals. How they experienced suffering in such and such way was subject to lower planes, Abhayapum, and some went to hell. Some became hungry ghosts, Betta. Some became angry demons, Asura. Some became animals, or they were reborn as humans, but their organs or their bodies manifest the residue of past deeds, Kamma. That is why the bodies and minds, Dhatu Khanta, were not as intact as they should be. Consequently, they ended up losing legs, losing ears, or losing eyes. They had an abnormal human body that was unattractive. These are residual karmas of those who had previously committed evil karma. The Buddha chronicled all of these stories about people into books so that we would be able to study how someone who does evil things like that or does bad things like this will die and face certain consequences. The Buddha took stories about various evils and chronicled them in books so that we could study them, so we see how we should not do these immoral things like those people did. We must study and understand these issues about people. The Dhamma that the Buddha taught uses issues about people to teach people about these issues. Then there are those who did good deeds in the past. They did good whether in actions, speech, or thoughts. They paid homage and did chanting in reverence to the Buddha, or cultivated virtue in other ways. Having cultivated virtue, when they died, they went to favorable destinations, Sukhati. They experienced physical bliss and mental bliss at various places, like heaven. The Buddha used these stories about people doing good and chronicled them in books. People who cultivated virtue like this died and were reborn in good place, a favorable destination. Once those people returned to be born as humans again, their physical appearance and all of the bodily organs were intact and attractive. As in the Pali verse, beauty, a sweet voice, a perfectly formed and handsome body, leadership, and a following. Suvanata, Susarata, Susantana, Surupata, Adipaja Parivaro. A person possesses a body like this as a result of the merits, punya, they cultivated in the past. After you read about people doing good like this, you strive to be one who possesses virtue. Having been born into this world, you desire happiness and prosperity, both physically and mentally. Therefore, try to choose and accumulate virtue and cultivate virtue at all times.